A judge this week decided to throw out a lawsuit challenging Indiana's cold beer laws. Currently, only liquor stores can sell beer cold in Indiana. Convenience stores and gas stations were suing for that same right. They argue the law gave unequal protection to liquor stores, and they called the law arcane. The head of the Indiana Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Store Association called the ruling disappointing for Hoosiers. In a statement, IPCA Director Scott Imus wrote, "There is wide support to modernize Indiana's alcohol laws, and we will continue to fight for fairness in the marketplace." But in his ruling, U.S. District Judge Richard Young wrote, "Equal protection is not a license for courts to judge the wisdom, fairness, or logic of legislative choices." Quinn Ricker, who owns a chain of more than 50 convenience stores based in Anderson, was one of the plaintiffs in the suit. He says store owners have been pushing legislators for years to relax Indiana's alcohol laws, but he says they've never gotten anywhere. That, he says, is why they went through the court system.
The liquor lobby's been very strong in this state, and it's probably why this is in place today. But when we've tried our efforts in that fashion, and we felt like this was the best case scenario to change these antiquated liquor laws.
The judge's ruling also rejected claims by the convenience store group that the law is arcane, saying the legislature has drawn a line on what it will allow and has made a case for it. So it's not for the judge to act as a super legislature and overturn it. This echoes what the president and CEO of Indiana's Association of Beverage Retailers told us in February. Patrick Tam says the General Assembly, not the court, is the place to make public policy decisions.
For many years, many decades now, states have had the rights under the 21st Amendment to determine how and who sells alcohol in their states. We believe that Indiana has found a good balance for that. Other states have done various other matters as well. However, we believe that the state of Indiana has created a system that's worked well for its public.
In a statement, Indiana Attorney General Greg Zeller praised the judge's decision. "The statute we successfully defended reflects the current decision of the people's elected representatives in the legislature," Zeller said. "The subject has been debated for many years, but the appropriate forum for those who disagree with the state law to advocate for policy changes is in the state legislature, not the courts." And joining us now to talk about the legislators' role in this debate is Indiana Public Broadcasting State House reporter Brandon Smith. Brandon, as we just heard, the Attorney General, whose office defended the state in the lawsuit, says that the debate of this issue belongs with the legislature. Has the legislature debated this before?
A little bit. Groups like the IPCA, which is the Indiana Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Store Association, have been pushing to end this ban on cold beer sales for a while now. But for the most part, their path in the legislature hasn't been too successful, which is partly why they took this matter to court.
Now that the issue has been rejected by the courts, do you think that you expect the legislature to bring this up again?
Well, like I said, they've been pushing for, and the IPCA has pledged to continue to fight for what they call fairness in the marketplace. And since the legal route seems unlikely to bring them to victory, it seems the legislative avenue seems the most likely at this point to be the course they choose.
If the legislature did take up cold beer sales, do you have any sense of what their arguments could be this time around?
It would be similar to what we saw in court, which is the IPCA says it doesn't make a lot of sense to reject them selling cold beer when, for instance, they can sell cold wine in their stores, and they say it creates confusion among their customers. They also argue that they have been historically more successful when it comes to following the state's alcohol laws. The Indiana Excise Police report that there have been more infractions given out to liquor stores, restaurants, and bars than they have to convenience stores.
Well, and then, Brandon, what about all the opposing arguments as well to this?
Well, proponents of the ban say that by allowing cold beer sales everywhere, it greatly expands access to alcohol by minors. Liquor stores don't allow customers under the age of 21 to enter, but that doesn't exist, obviously, in convenience stores, so it makes it tougher for law enforcement to police minor alcohol possession.
Now, Brandon, you're there at the State House every day. Do you have any sense with legislators what they're saying about this right now?
I talked to the chairs of the House and Senate Public Policy Committees, which is where alcohol regulation bills typically go through. The House chair, Tom Dermody, said he was willing to keep an open mind on this issue. He'll talk to people on both sides of the debate this summer. The Senate chair, however, Ron Alting, is pretty dead set against changing the ban on cold beer sales.
And then there's the other issue that we have to talk about very briefly, though, and that's the sales of alcohol on Sundays. Any chance of that coming up in the Indiana legislature this coming year?
As opposed as Ron Alting is to changing the ban on cold beer sales, he seems a lot more likely to allow Sunday sales.
Okay, thank you very much, Brandon.